Once again, you all are welcome in your English class, children. A very good morning, and let's proceed with the book exercises of the chapter Break, Break, Break. It's a poetry written by Lord Tennyson. A part of solving the exercises, we will discuss the word meanings also. Clear? I hope you all must have read the poem, understood it also very well, and wherever you have found the problem, you can uh, revise the period that we had yesterday. So let's once again proceed with the poem Break, 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 written by Lord Tennyson. Before discussing the vocabulary, children, let's read this poem once again. So it would be helpful while finding out the answers. Means when uh, while taking out the answers, as you have freshly read the poem, so it would be easier to solve. Clear? So I am reading it on the screen, and you children can proceed in your book. I hope you all are carrying your books, okay, as we are going to solve the exercises. Let's start with break, break, break on thy cold grey stone, O sea. And I would that my tongue could utter the thoughts that arise in me. Oh, well, for the fisherman's boy that he shouts with his sister at play. Oh, well, for the sailor lad that he sings in his boat on the bay. And the stately ships go on to their haven under the hill. But oh, for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. Break, break, break at the foot of thy cracks, O sea, but the tender grace of a day that is dead will never come back to me. It's a really wonderful poetry written by Lord Tennyson. Children, what exactly is this poem? This in this poem, the poet is standing at the seashore, shocked and shattered, and he looks at the ocean and wishing to know how to express his grief. Okay, he sees what is this grief. This grief is about is for his dear friend who is lost, who is dead. So he is missing his company, he is lost in his somber memories, and he wants to get his company back. Okay, so all those thoughts are going on his mind, but he finds himself unable to speak out, to express what is going on, what are his feelings inside. Okay, and he sees a fisherman's kid hanging out with his sister, and he hears a sailor's lad singing, but they don't cheer him up. They just remind him of the voice that is still, or the voice of his dead friend that he cannot talk to anymore. So the fisherman is looking around, the word is going on, going on, the people are proceeding, they are cheerful, they are happy, enjoying their life, but the poet is mourning the death of his friend, dear friend. Who is his friend? Arthur Henry Hallam. Children, keep these names, remember, because sometimes these names are also asked. Okay, so that all. And what exactly the poet wants? Tennyson wants his friend's company again. He wants to touch his friend, he wants to touch his hand. What exactly the hands? The hand is the love, the pleasure that he used to get in his company. That exactly he is wishing here, and he wants to hear his dead friend's voice also. Dead friend's voice means the things they used to share, that those the talks that used to delight him. He is missing them all. The ocean waves keep breaking on the beach, and time keeps marching on. But the speaker cannot go back in time to when his friend was alive. Basically, The theme of this poem is grief and acceptance. Grief means the the sorrow, the suffering, the pain of losing someone, and acceptance means that the word doesn't have the the word doesn't give the space for any individual's personal suffering. Okay, it keeps on going, the time keeps on changing. Okay, so we must also accept this fact and try to overcome from such circumstances. Now let's once go through the word meanings of this chapter. Okay, so I want you all to be focused and try to learn these words right at the moment with their meanings. Then only you can use them properly. Okay, so everybody is ready. Here, as you can see, some of the words on my screen, children. Okay, our first word is stately. Stately means majestic. Okay, now how you can keep this word, remember, majestic children. While addressing any king or queen, we call them as your majesty. It is not majestic, it's majesty. So why do we call them majesty? They are called majesty because of their royalty, the excellence they have, the dignity that they belong to. So majestic is something very enormous, big, that is very magnificent. So basically, stately means that is big, too huge. Okay, so stately means majestic, excellent, whether it is dignity wise, rank wise, or physically. Here, as stately word is referring to a ship, so it means that the ship is too big, too royal. Clear? So what is the meaning of stately? Stately means majestic, big, very big. Okay? Now the second word is haven. Haven means harbor. What is harbor? Harbor is a place that the another word for harbor is port, where the ships are loaded or unloaded. Okay, means here you can see it means shelter also. Shelter means shelter for ships basically. Okay, so haven means harbor. While explaining the chapter, I told you one more heaven. Heaven. What is the meaning of that heaven? That is paradise, the home of God. So please pay attention in their spelling. It depends, means while using both of these words, it depends on the sense. What do you mean? Okay, where if it is uh, in the sense of harbor, okay, so Haven, and when you means paradise, so you will write Heaven, heaven. Clear? Now look at the third word. Our third word is tender grace. Children, this word is made with two words, tender and grace. It means gentle love and care. Tender means very polite, soft, gentle. And grace is basically stands for the kindness, the courtesy, love and care that is given by. So, tender grace is basically the gentle love and care. From where do you get this tender grace? From the side of your mother, your family members, they provide you the tender grace. Same as in the poem, the poet Tennyson is getting this tender grace from the side of his friend. Okay, his friend has given him that tender grace. So, basically, what is the meaning of tender grace? The gentle love and care, जो प्यार और the closeness, the passion that you get from others. That is basically tender grace. Okay, now the next word is utter. Utter means to speak, bolna. Means I can't hear what you uttered. Okay, or it is hard to understand his utterance as he speaks softly. So utter means the word that has been spoken out. Okay. He was uttering so softly that it was hard to understand. So, wherever you use speak, the synonym of speak is utter. Word meanings are basically the synonym, the same meaning words only. Okay, so never ever get confused कि synonym पूछा जा रहा है or whether they are asking for word meaning. They all mean same, children. Okay, so utter means to speak. Okay, now the next word is lad. Lad means boy. Lad is an old English word. In the old storybooks, you will find this word lad. Now, boy word is used for it. They are the synonym of each other. Okay, what is the opposite gender of lad? That is lash. Lass. Okay, so what is the opposite gender of lad? Lass. Same as what is the opposite gender of boy? Girl. So here lad, lash, or boy or girl. So what is the meaning of lad? Boy. Clear? Now come to the next word, vanish. Vanish means disappear or gone. Gayab ho jana. So when something is disappear, so what is it? It is vanished. Okay? He was standing in front of me and suddenly vanished like a thin air. Vanished into thin air, sorry. Okay, so vanish means वो गायब हो गया. Suddenly he vanished, disappeared. Okay, so what is the meaning of vanish? Vanish means disappear or gone. Understood? Now next, come to the next word, that is crag. Crag means a steep rugged rock or cliff. Means, children, basically the steep, the vertical rock wall, the vertical rock face, due to wearing or continuous erosion, the side of the mountains become steep, straight. So that is basically known as crag or cliff. Okay, and this is very common to see these crags or cliff, at the coast or the mountainous areas or along the rivers. You can find them here. On the screen also you can see one cliff. This is cliff or crag, they are the synonyms. Clear? So this is such kind of rocky structure is known as crag. Now it's time to solve the book exercises. Exercise A. Your exercise A is answer the following questions. Okay, so first one is, what sight makes the poet feel pensive? Pensive means sad. So what sight makes the poet feel pensive? The sight of sea waves breaking on the grey stones made the poet pensive or sad. Okay, now the next is, how are the fisherman's boy and girl and the sailor lad different from the poet? कैसे वो different है? Means when the poet look at the boy and the girl playing at the shore and the sailor boy singing in the boat, so how are they different from the poet? They all were happy. And what is the main difference between them? The children and the lad, sailor lad, they were happy while the poet is sad. So that the same difference has been asked in this question. The fisherman's boy and girl and the sailor lad are playful, merry, and full of life. What is the meaning of merry? Happy. Okay, whereas the poet is mourning the death of a friend. Clear? Now let's come to the third one. What is the heaven under the hill? Heaven, I told you. What is the meaning of heaven? Harbor. Same thing has been asked. What is the heaven under the hill the ships go to? And what does it remind him of? So the heaven under the hill refer to the harbor where ships can shelter safely. It reminds him of heaven. Here, see the spelling of heaven, Heaven, because here it means the paradise, God's home. Okay, so heaven to which his friend has gone, from where he can never return. Now our fourth question is, Explain the significance of the lines. O for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. Significance of a line, whenever such kind of questions are asked, explain the line or explain the significance of the line. So it means that the meaning of those lines have been asked to you. So here you have to tell the meaning of these words. O for the touch of a vanished hand and the sound of a voice that is still. It's very easy. If you have understood the poem well, so you can easily write the answer of this question. The poet misses the touch and the sound of the voice of a dear friend who has died. Clear? Now the next one is, what is the tender grace? Do you remember the meaning of tender grace? The gentle love and care. Okay. So, what is the tender grace the poet refers to in the last stanza? किसको refer किया है ये tender grace? The love or the company that he got from his friend's side. Okay. So, by the words tender grace, the poet refers to the happy days when he enjoyed the love and friendship of his dear friend who is no longer alive. Clear to everybody? Now it's time to move towards the next section of the exercises, that is critical appreciation. We all know that this part is not done in notebook. It is only for your to enrich your knowledge. Okay, because sometimes many of the literary devices we introduce in this part, so we come to know about them. When you proceed toward the higher section, you will study these things in detail, but at your level, having a little knowledge is enough for you all children. Clear? Now, what is the rhyming scheme of the poem? I told you how to take out the rhyming scheme. How do we do? For every new sound produced by the last word in the chapter, we denote with a fresh letter. And what is rhyming scheme, children? Yes, the pattern of rhyming words. The pattern of rhyming words at the end of each line. By that we decide the rhyming scheme of the poem. Now let's start solving, then it would be easier for you to understand. The first line is break, break, break. The last words, the sound of the last word is break, ko. So I am denoting it with letter A. Here, now the second line, O sea, on thy cold grey stone, O sea. O sea. C is not rhyming with break. It's different. The sound is different. So I will denote it with a fresh letter, B. Okay, now the third line is could utter. Again, the utter is not matching with the rest two of the before lines. So I will denote it with letter C. Okay, now the thought that arises in me and C in the second line. The last letter of second line C and the last letter of fourth line me, they are rhyming with each other. Okay, so again the same letter B will be used to show its rhyming. So what is the rhyme scheme of the first stanza? A, B, C, B. Okay, now let's solve the second stanza. Oh well for the fisherman's boy. This boy, the sound of boy is not matching, not rhyming with any of the four lines we solved before in the first stanza. So a fresh letter. For every fresh sound, we will use a fresh letter to denote. Okay, now here I have used D. Now that he shouts with his sister at play. Play and boy has no rhyming. Children, this is a very common mistake you people do. Rhyming means the sound must be same, not the spelling or the last letter of the word. No. Rhyming means their sound must be similar. Boy and play, do they have the same sound? No, different. So for play, I will use a different alphabet to denote, okay, to show its rhyming. Now, oh well, for the sailor's lad. Lad is not rhyming with any of the previous words, so a fresh letter F. Now, on the bay, in the fourth line, on the bay, play and bay, they are rhyming together, so same letter E. So, what is the rhyme scheme of second stanza? D E F E. Now, let's solve third one. And the stately ship go on, not rhyming with any of the previous ones, a fresh letter G. Under the hill, hill is rhyming with any? No, a new letter H. Okay, now vanish hand. Hand is rhyming with any? Lad or utter or C? No, no. So a fresh letter I. Now look at, is a still? Yes, still and hill. Hill and still, they both are rhyming together, matching, having the same sound. So same letter H. So hill and as hill and still, they both have the same sound, so they are symbolized with the same letter. Okay, now break, break, break. This is the very first line, rhyming with the very first line, so same letter A will be used to denote its rhyme. Okay, now O C, C again, B letter will be used for its rhyme. Now is dead, dead is dead, hand or lad, not lad or dead, not matching with or any. So a fresh letter J I have used to show its rhyming. Now the last is me. Again, me and C are rhyming together. So B letter. So in this way, what is the rhyme scheme of the last stanza? A B J B. Clear? So in this way we show the rhyming scheme of a poem. So normally in the exam, children, all the stanzas are not given of a poem. Any one or two stanzas will be given and will ask you to write the rhyme scheme of it. So if you know the trick how the rhyme scheme is taken out, so you can take out the rhyming scheme of any poem, whether you have done it in your syllabus or not. Clear to everybody? This question can be asked in any of the reading comprehension also. So must practice this properly by taking other poems in your book. Clear? Now let's solve the next question, that is, list some features of the poem that make it lyric poetry. So children, a poem is called lyric with its figurative language, descriptive imagery, punctuation, and tone. And the features that make this poem a lyric poetry is basically it is a short poem expressing the poet's personal emotions and thoughts. A part of that, it is an elegy because this poem is written in the sober memory of his friend, the somber memory of his friend who is dead no more. So it is an elegy, now focusing on the poet's somber mood, who is lost in deep memory of his departed friend. Okay, and a part of that, this poem has four stanzas of four lines each quatrain in irregular iambic tetrameter. Tetrameter means having four lines, okay, in each. Now the poem is simple and straightforward and easy to understand. So all these features all together make it a lyric poetry. Clear? Now there is one more creative writing section, children, in the chapter. Write a description of the most beautiful natural scene you have seen, and what thoughts came to your mind when you saw it. You may express yourself in poetry if you wish. Here you have to write something on the topic based on nature. Miss, if you have, as you described, the visit to any hill station or the seaside or the site of a sunset or sunrise, so the same kind of thing you have to do in this creative writing. Whether you can write a paragraph or descriptive writing, you can do, or even if you wish, you can write a poem also on such topic. Okay, so you only have to describe the natural beauty of any place, or you have been the witness of any such place where you have enjoyed the nature. Okay, so that writing will be done in this you can practice. It's a good creative writing part. You can do it in your English B notebook. Fine, children. So that's all for this class, children. I hope the poem must be clear to you all. Rest, we have solved all the exercises, nothing has been left in this. Okay, and don't forget to practice the word meanings. That's all for today's class, children. Take a good care of yourself. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.